Welcome to this week's edition of Friday Night Fever. I'm Jim Holder alongside Andy Lee. We appreciate you so much for joining us. And Andy, we've reached the North Half and South Half finals in high school football in the state of Mississippi. And this week's winner is going to play for state championships next week. Yeah, the Final Four, if you will, and always an exciting week. Of course, the weather threw a little bit of a wrench into tonight's plans, but you got to adjust. This time of the year, you have to be prepared for everything.
Some teams definitely handled it well. Some teams did not, and we had some interesting ones tonight, as we always seem to do.
So we'll take a look at those. Scores on our ticker as always. Let's go to our highlights. We start with the Class 5A North Half Championship game. Yeah, Olive Branch at West Point. We're there live at 5 and 6, and the Green Wave ready to go in this one. And here we go. Green Wave, first quarter. Dakota Braswell the carry for Olive Branch. Terrius Embry, Jalen Webb among the greenies that meet him. First possession for West Point. Brandon Harris, he was our player of the week, Andy. And, wow, another big night for him. 84-yard touchdown. And just like that, it's 7-0 Green Wave. By the way, I kind of stood there underneath the awning there. Yeah, smart choice. Exactly. I figured, why not? So 7-0 Green Wave. And some fans were smiling like I did the same thing. Not all of them did, though. Next possession, though, for the Conquistadors, Gary Banks stopped by Tyron Orr. So the Green Wave, they would really start to pour it on, if you will. Dentarius Cannon, yuck. Shot out of a cannon here. Gets some blocking. It looks like the ref is blocking him almost from my perspective. 59-yard touchdown run. This makes it 14-0 West Point. And you see the rain just coming down. A lot of fans, give credit to the fans, the ones who stuck this one out. It was big. It was big for West Point because the Green Wave rolled to a 35-0 win. And West Point is headed back to the state championship game for a third straight year.
They'll face West Jones for all the marbles. All right, 3A North, Water Valley at North Panola from a soggy Sardis. Cougars down the Blue Devils 52-19 a month ago in Sardis. Water Valley looking for revenge. The Blue Devils able to keep North Panola quarterback KJ Jefferson in check in the first quarter. Jefferson finished off by Paris Adams. Forces a Cougar punt. Water Valley begins its opening possession in North Panola territory. Jacob Truss with a nice run. This drive ends with a turnover on downs. North Panola goes 3 and out. Water Valley's second drive wouldn't start well. Contarius Rucker brought down by Eric Williams for a loss. But on 3rd and long, Truss finds Quatarius Bud Tolbert for a first down. Tolbert had a big game. Look at him push the pile inside the 10-yard line. Water Valley unable to punch it in, so the Devils settle for a 21-yard field goal from John Surrett. 3-0 Water Valley after a quarter, but this one gets high scoring after that. Water Valley avenges that earlier loss, defeats North Panola 43-28. Blue Devils in the championship game for the first time since they won it all in 1990.
Wow. Congratulations to the Blue Devils. All right, let's go to the Class 4A North Half Championship. Greenwood at Louisville. These two met earlier this year. This is the third rematch in a row here that we're showing tonight. Wet and muddy, as you would expect. A lot of fans bringing the umbrellas around. A lot of that today, and both teams trying to play the run. Wildcats stuffing the Bulldogs' rushing attack there. A little bit later on, Deontay Yarborough, as the cheerleaders brave it, takes the quarterback keeper, and I think it's a little bit of a gain there for the Wildcats, but Greenwood playing the run very well. They would stop the offense in their tracks in a tackle for loss. A lot of 0-0 games after the first quarter tonight, Andy. Then Jalen Metcalf for Greenwood. Now, this is their first pass attempt of the game, but picked off by Jontavius Garnett, and Garnett's going to go places. In fact, this is going to be a pick six. Looked like he might have stepped out of bounds. Yep, turns out he did. So there you go. All right, 3rd and goal. It'd been nice if I'd known that before I read that. But anyway, Bulldogs stuff Yarborough, who takes the keeper. Wildcats forced to kick a field goal for a 3-0 lead. And that field goal turned out to be the difference because Louisville hangs on. They get the win. Louisville looking for another state title. Louisville winning this one. 17-14 is that final. All right, WTVA's Evan Hensley has been covering this game for us tonight. Hopefully you saw him live earlier today. And he joins us now with an update.
And it was a very rainy and muddy day here at Louisville High School tonight, but the Wildcats do come out on top in a 17-14 win over the Greenwood Bulldogs. And for the Wildcats, they really dominated along the defensive front. And the conditions really helped out quite a bit balls were constantly dropped. There wasn't too many passing attempts, let alone completions in this game. It was kind of one of those ground and pound games that you kind of expected once the rain starts raining for a couple hours and it really tears up this field. It was actually so muddy that a lot of the players after the game went slip and sliding through some of the mud here out on the field. And so looking forward for Louisville, they will now have an opportunity to win another state title. But their opponent will be Poplarville next week at the 4A state title game. All set to be a great matchup as they, like I just said, they look to win yet another state title. Make sure you tune to WTVA 9 News next week for a recap and coverage of those games. For now, reporting in Louisville, Evan Hensley, WTVA 9 News.
All right, Evan Hensley was in Oxford with us last night, and then now into Louisville today.
It's a lot of driving.
He's done some traveling.
Yeah.
Our man has done some traveling. All right, Evan, thank you so much. We got more highlights and scores ahead. Stay with us. Welcome back to Friday Night Fever. Jim Holder, Andy Lee. Scores on our ticker. Continuing with highlights, Andy Lee.
Let's get after it. Class 2A North Championship. Scott Central hosting Calhoun City. A rainy, muddy Scott Central. This one scoreless until the final minutes of the first half. The Rebels would explode. Heidi Barlow flips one out to Javarius McBeath. Touchdown Rebels, 7-0 Scott Central. Ensuing Calhoun City drive. Trouble with the slick ball. It's a fumble. The Rebel defense slides through the mud to come up with the recovery, and they would cash it in. Barlow plows his way in from 4 yards out. Scott Central with a quick 14-0 lead over Calhoun City, and they would get some more pouring Rebel points. Navantique Strong takes it around the right side,
Nasty.
up the sideline. A 34-yard touchdown run makes it 21-0 at that. Reminds you of that football game in that movie, The Last Boy Scout. Just ugly out there. Scott Central wins this one 27-0. Perry Lyle's fabulous career at Calhoun City now in the books.
Absolutely. Great job by Coach Lyles, but Calhoun City season comes to an end. All right, so let's go to Class 1A North Half Championship. Smithville at Hollandale Simmons.
Muddy track.
The Mud Bowl. And no score in the second quarter, and Demarius Turner recovering this fumble. Just look at this. Man, Smithville all over it, but Simmons takes the loss. And watch this. Blocked punt.
Hey!
And Chandler Woodham recovers. The Seminoles are in business. And Octavian Miller trying to get something done, but he loses the football. Blue Devils all over him right there. So Simmons, just look at the uniforms. Man, look at this. Tydarius Gibson. Somebody had to score eventually. He won't score on this play, but he's going to make a nice run and gets down inside Smithville territory. And then Aaron Davis will score here. And Hollandale Simmons takes an 8-0 lead at halftime. Smithville kept it close throughout, but Simmons keeps that long winning streak going. They're headed back to the finals, the Class 1A finals. Hollandale Simmons getting the win by the final score of 20-6, but a great season for Smithville.
And a great effort out there. So who will Simmons face? Will it be a rematch of last year between Nanawaya and Hollandale Simmons? Nanawaya first had to take care of East Marion. Shy Moore doesn't get much yardage there. But the very next play, Donovan Turner on the quarterback keeper right up the middle. And that's a touchdown. The Warriors take a 7-0 lead. Now the Eagles with the ball. Devin Daniels looks like he has a completion, but nope. Coley Taylor hits him hard and jars the ball loose. Ensuing drive, Turner with the keeper again. Nowhere to go, but that's another Warriors first down. On the other sideline, the Warriors will score again and take a 13-0 lead. Nanawaya wins this one 28-8, so it'll be Nanawaya Simmons 2 for the 1A title next week.
That's going to be a great game. Hey, well, what about 6A tonight, Andy? Because Horn Lake was
a couple good ones. Horn Lake defeats Madison Central 16-7. Horn Lake will face Oak Grove. Oak Grove defeated Brandon 21-10. Right. So it'll be Horn Lake, Oak Grove in 6A. All
right, that'll be next Friday night. I need to mention the Lighthouse Classic basketball going on in Corinth. Started today. A lot of great teams there. Continuing tomorrow. Some local teams in action. Faulkner defeated Kossuth 59-34. Alcorn Central over Waterloo, Alabama 62-54. Corinth playing as we speak. And again, great action coming up tomorrow. And some other scores to pass along real quick.
Yeah, women's basketball in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Purdue defeats Ole Miss 70-59. Ole Miss and Baylor, men's game from Destin, Florida. They're in a tight one. The winner plays Cincinnati in the championship game of that tournament. Loser faces George Mason in the consolation game of that tournament.
All right, so that's going to do it for this week's edition of Friday Night Fever. Next week, the state championships
we made it.
Southern Miss. Yes, for Andy Lee and our entire staff. I'm Jim Holder. Have a great night.